We had a thunder shower last night.
Not bad.
Dave's gonna
Yeah, more of a
open up
shower. Yeah.
a new jar of
More of a
open up
shower. Yeah.
a new jar of homemade dill pickles, and I make my dill pickles with a lot of dill. Half of the jar is filled with dill, so
That's basically what I had yesterday,
very nice.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was very good.
Yes.
Goes great with burgers.
I only like making the one kind of dill pickles because I like that kind the best.
And you never make sweet pickles, right?
Nope.
Your dad probably likes sweet pickles, right?
Probably.
No, that's what I used to prefer.
Oh.
But, well, you know, as you get older, your taste buds kind of get a little bit.
I thought I'd be too cold, and I put this big sweater on, but I don't think I'm that cold.
Yeah. I didn't hear a pop.
It's fine.
Okay.
Those ones will be fine.
Yeah.
It might have just kind of went off or whatever.
Well, a lot of things happen at the same time.
Yeah.
Nobody's, I don't know.
But those ones, all of these things are not working. So I'm having this soup because I've been feeling really exhausted lately and not wanting to.
Not able to
Yeah.
do as much as you'd like to. You've done a lot.
So you were wanting to talk about something, so go ahead.
Oh,
and
I don't
talk.
know. You were wanting to talk about Africa getting better.
Oh, well, no, I'm just saying you don't know what's going to happen with people and like who's in power and what's.
Yeah, there were a lot of things I was
That's not
building
gonna
up
work.
to it. So, when I was a kid, my favorite
That's probably going to be
professor
better.
specialized in South Africa, and he had cool John Lennon glasses, and he's even cooler than John Lennon because he actually did long distance running, so he's in shape and all this sort of stuff. And I'm not going to mention his name. And he specialized in South Africa, and this was like the early to mid 70s. He didn't get tenure because the political science department out there was in the process of turning right wing, if it wasn't right wing already. So, and you know, I'm not they're still right wing from what I can tell. I'm not terribly sympathetic towards them, but you know, I kind of got to look at him objectively. So I spent 7 of my first 10 years in it. I was 8, I think, when we first. No, I was 10 when we came over. I can remember. When we left, the country had just gotten independence. Can't say freedom because it ended up being a one-party state. And it was a left-wing one-party state, which really didn't make it much, if any, better. It was not by that kind of structure. I mean, I think that the leader, Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia, was a little bit better. Let's say Robert Mugabe to the south of him. I think they were rough contemporaries. Mugabe's very rough, of course. And thank heavens he's dead. I don't like seeing people die, but if they're nasty and cause thousands upon thousands of people to die, in this case Mugabe was mainly through famine, and I can't really say it's incompetence. Because, you know, he has a famine. When was it, around 2000? This is like 80 years after the communists induced their first famine. It's induced. Is it incompetence? You know, you get Noam Chomsky saying, hey, you know, you can't blame them for being bad because of their incompetence. He said that about... It's worse than incompetence. They know it's going to happen. It can't be a surprise. They can't be that stupid. So, I hate it when people say that. Well, I'm going to say it. So, you know, professors say it. So, I've proven what QED. I've proven whatever has to be proven. So, now, quod erat demonstrandum. So, what was I saying? When McGabby comes up, I tell you, I get really exercised. But
So
the only
what you were
exercise I can get
saying
nowadays.
was it can't be a surprise when a famine comes up.
Oh, we're talking about Kenneth Cout and South Africa. So when we left, it was 1964, it was independence, or just before independence. And, you know, I've actually gone through segregated schools. I don't believe in it. But here's what was happening. In the segregated school, the white school that I was at, people were basically running the same stream. Like I shifted over from one stream, it was the British system, over to the Canadian system when we moved here. What would have happened if it had been at the black level? They had a black school there. And they had guys beginning school at age 18, 19. That's grade 1. Am I exaggerating? Maybe I am. I don't think so.
Well, it just opens it up for some, because there would be some people, I mean, there's some people in it. It doesn't matter what color of skin you have or what culture you're being raised in. There are a lot of people who don't seem to think of children as having a right just to be children and explore and learn on their own with people their own age.
Well, that's actually what I believe in, you know.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of people that predators. There's a lot of
you couldn't have had
predators
19-year-olds. I don't care.
That would be attracted to. Oh yeah, I'll go to school just so that they can hang out with some young stuff and.
Well, some really young stuff. I don't know, but you're exactly right. You can't have 19-year-olds. I mean, they try to separate different ages in elementary school or whatever they call it nowadays. And quite rightly, you can't have grade 6ers hanging with grade 1ers. It's too many bad things can happen. So, but yeah. So he was thinking in South Africa, just like in Zambia, you could have democracy overnight. With people starting off grade 1 at age 18 and age 19. And I was sitting there thinking in class, I hope you're right. And the more I thought about it, I said, I wish you were right. But I knew he was wrong. I knew it wouldn't work out. And you look at these countries, and I'm using these in not a nice sense. I'm talking about the political system. These countries that gained independence. I'm not talking about freedom. They didn't gain freedom because they ended up being one-party states. They ended up being nationalists in terms of aims and communists in terms of their organization. That's the worst of all possible worlds, practically. You've got the most totalitarian system, when talking about communism. Not possible, but I think so far invented by unhuman, unkind. Okay? And then you've got the most vicious system. I mean, there are different manifestations of it. Nationalism, in this case, African nationalism, pan-German nationalism, I'm against. I'm against pan-Arab nationalism. I'm against pan-Turkic nationalism, whatever they call it, Turanianism. I'm against pan-German nationalism, pan-African nationalism, pan-Turkish nationalism, Turkic nationalism, pan-Arab nationalism. It doesn't matter. I'm against it. It tends to be very, very, very bad to non-representatives of that nationality within their political entity.
Okay, but you were talking about the railway. How the Russians were offering.
Well, that was a different sort of thing.
What?
Yeah, that's a different sort of thing. I don't know if I've got time to get onto that. But do you want me to talk about it?
Well, it's up to you.
Okay.
You can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah. So I'm just right now I'm talking about how Africa. Okay, this is news. This is news for left-wing louts out there. Maybe that's what I'll call them. Not fake left-wings, but left-wing louts out there.
Just call them yellows.
Yellows. Your belief systems and everyone else's belief system and their belief practice system actually have implications. This is politically incorrect because every system out there is just as good as that. Oh, except if it's anything to do with white Anglo-Saxon Protestantism, that is evil made incarnate. So, you know, anyone who accuses these yellows, and these is that's negative, okay, just in case you're not grasping. Your belief systems matter. Particularly your practice. The practice parts of your belief systems matter. If you believe in sharing the land with everyone, doesn't matter if they know how to farm, you're going to have a famine. If you actually institute that, you can have this stupid belief system. But if you actually practice it, you're going to have a famine. Because you're going to give land to people who don't know anything about climate. They don't know anything about weather. They don't know anything about how to plant stuff on a schedule. They don't know anything about how to harvest stuff on schedule. And every time these stupid bozos, otherwise known as communists, get into the saddle, they let's have a famine. Let's kill 10 million people.
Well, and
let's kill 20 million people. Because it's right.
The key is to actually educate people so that they have the ability to just having, like, we have all sorts of access to education here, which I am very grateful for. You know, I've taken, I don't know, maybe 100 and something Gale courses. Like, I've taken
you took
a lot of those.
270 in the space of a year.
Well,
we were keeping track.
The Gale ones? That much?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, you were keeping track. She's being too humble.
I don't know.
She took almost like one a day.
Maybe you're
definitely more than one every other day.
The Gale ones plus the great courses.
Mm-hmm. No, we were keeping track of the Gale courses.
I'm going to look into it because I kept track of it.
She's very humble, you know.
And I don't think it's that high. But anyway, I took a lot of them.
Yep.
Because I was trying to, well, frankly, I was trying to distract myself from reality. So I was trying to keep myself busy. I was thinking I better be in I wasn't in a position where I was working at the time, and I thought, well, you know, I should be learning. If I'm not working, well, I was working, making food and whatever, but I, you know, taking care of the house and this and that, but I wasn't receiving an income. So I was taking all these courses and thinking I better, you know, make sure that I'm more employable and I can be more productive in many different ways when this is done. So anyway, so I was taking all those courses and I'm very grateful for them, and they're available. So if you're in a position where you're not being productive, I have a problem with people who think that they're productive when they're actually not, who think that they're green when they're actually not.
When they're yellow, particularly.
Yeah, when they're yellow. I have a problem, honestly, I really have a hard time. I know that this is how they were raised, and I feel for them, you know, but I'm not your mother.
Yeah.
And I don't have any responsibility for caring for you.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to figure it out on your own. Or, you know, and there's a lot of resources out there. So take some Gale courses, figure some stuff out. And if I tell you something on here and you don't actually look it up, the reason that I've put this blog website together is to get you to look things up for yourself.
Yeah.
So
hit a book.
That's what I'm encouraging you to do. I'm not trying to give you information for, sure, I've shared some recipes and stuff like that. If you want to try them, that's great.
Yeah.
If you don't,
We could be
that's
saying
fine.
anything. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you don't know who I am. You don't know, I could be paid by some multi-billion-dollar corporation to say what I'm saying. For all you don't know me. So you need to look things up for yourself. You need to take responsibility for your own care. And I feel for you that you didn't receive the same, like I was gardening with my grandmother when I was just a little girl, just tiny. I was out there in the garden with her, so I realize now I had a head start on a lot of people that way. But really, I've continued learning, and that's why I've managed to attract somebody like James, is because I value learning, and so does he.
I think Pauline learns faster than I do. Definitely in certain ways, like lectures, she's faster picking up than I.
Now I've lost track of what I was saying. So in times like this, I mean, you can look at, you've had some time, many of you, to sit back and listen to the CBC and listen to them trying to sell you on going out and getting a haircut and going to restaurants and whatever, you know, and you've had a chance to, hopefully you're taking notes, detailed notes. Who's saying these things and what exactly did they say? So that you can figure out what's going on, because this stuff's important. And so when I say that you don't know what's going to happen with Africa, well, if they're still have population growth that's skyrocketing, it's not looking good.
Absolutely.
And to say that, well, I've talked about it before, how James and I were talking about how he calls them fake left-wingers. I call them yellows, and you'll hear them on the CBC. You just turn on the CBC and there you go. You get a dose of that yellow perspective. And that's really all you're going to get, is the yellow perspective, a little bit of red thrown in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's about it. And but it should make you it should make you quite informed on what you're dealing with in the world. So James was talking about how the fake left-wingers they're all about opening borders and climate crisis now. It's a climate change. It's something, really, this isn't something tangible that you're being sold on. So this isn't something, it's like each person, it's something you can't do. A lot of these things, like a lot of the green things that you could do, things that you could, ways that you could help your family and yourself, because really charity begins at home and education begins with you, and you're responsible for that. So you can go out, you can educate yourself, you can learn how to, right now, go out, grow a garden. Just, if you ended up growing a garden of weeds, well, that's a learning experience too. So just whatever you do, take note and try to learn from it. And then, but anyway, where was I? The yellows and the border thing, whatever. Mm-hmm. So they're saying that basically James is saying that the yellows are saying that it's all of Europeans, Americans, Canadians, basically it's fault of the white man.
Japanese are honorary white men, just like they were for the Germans.
I don't know. Are they? Are they going
They always say they're part of the West.
With this too? I don't know if they're going to be blamed. But anyway, the crisis thing, it's all your guys' fault that the climate, global warming and all this or whatever. And so now you're going to have to take in a whole bunch of climate refugees. Mm-hmm. That overpopulate. Traditionally they won't stop breeding. They have been overpopulating like crazy, and so they're going to come into cultures where they don't necessarily value education. They value making money and being,
not even that,
whatever,
but go on.
consuming. They value consuming.
Consuming.
And so that works out great to bring them into a population like this and set up a drug center so they can go get their needles and put them all over my lawn. Or I don't have a lawn, but you know what I mean. And anyway, now I'm sounding like a jerk for sure. But
the real jerks are the folks, the dumb folks, who want to make what they call climate refugees punishment for climate change. You try to sell that.
Because honestly,
you try to sell that. Are you stupid?
I don't.
You're making it punishment. Wow.
I don't want to sound like I don't care about people. Well, I care about people a whole lot. And I don't want to see...
Pauline cares about climate change, too.
I don't want to see people getting... I don't want to see a great big war. And I don't want to see people getting... I don't want to see an uprising.
Well, people are going to be gunned down at borders.
So
I'm not encouraging that.
It's
only what's happening.
You can think I sound like a jerk about this, but this is getting to a point where people are going to start reacting. I'm a pacifist, so it's not going to be me, but people will, and I see that. So you can't be bringing people, any people, into a place where all of a sudden it's consumer's paradise. Oh, they can consume. And that's our society. It's hard to get away from that. You have to really be conscious of the fact that you're put in these little places to consume. That's all you're put here for. From the perspective of a lot of people who are making a lot of money off of the whole system, they just want you consuming. They want you to keep consuming. You turn on the CBC, that's all they want. They want you to keep consuming, even if it kills you. Get out there and consume. And bringing in a bunch of people who don't have education, so they don't understand, they can't possibly understand how this system is going to chew them up. It's going to just take everything. It's going to let them consume until they are nothing. And then they're going to be upset because it didn't turn out like they expected. They expected somehow they were going to consume and become wealthy. No.
You don't consume, and that's a wonderful
You
formula.
don't consume to become wealthy.
No.
James and I are not wealthy. You can't. The people who are making money off of consumers, they're not consuming. They'll be consuming some if they have excess, but what their livelihood is dependent on parasitizing off of other people. So
they start by parasitizing off themselves.
I've talked about it with one of the I don't select which posts. If you like this post, read whatever. The WordPress selects them, but one of them was that they selected was the when I was writing a movie movie review about it's a great movie. But what was it? Anyway, you'll find it because it's there. And on that review, I was talking about the what is that car thing that they do here every year? That'll be coming up soon too. Street wheelers, where they just drive around in circles, and people bring out lawn chairs, and they just watch people driving around in circles. Honestly, I'm not making it up. This is real.
Now I come out for that, but I'm watching the people who are doing the watching. I'm amazed at who I see.
So you bring in a bunch of consumers that they have this idea that somehow they're going to be living the American dream by consuming, and the first thing they want a car, so they can drive around, because the people that have power that they can see are mobile. The people who have horses, or the people who have, this is for ages, for
plenty of cars down south of the border. How much
time has it been where the horse nomads have swept into a village and totally, they rape and pillage, and they're gone with everything.
500 BC was when it started with the Persian Empire.
Then the people who are left in the village are going, wow, these people are more powerful, obviously, because we're left with nothing, and we're having to rebuild again, and they've just went off with everything. So this, without knowing the greater picture of what's going on, people who see just that little small thing, they keep thinking, oh, well, these types of people, the people who are mobile, the people who don't have to worry about borders, they just take what they want, they go where they want, they're free to, they're the powerful ones, and they're the ones that, that's what you aspire to be. Really? That's what you aspire to be? If that's what you aspire to be, I don't want to live near you. I don't want you near me. And if you can't understand that is something to escape from, so that you can grow your own garden and not have to worry about somebody sweeping in, raping your children, and stealing your garden, why would I want to live with you? Honestly.
So in modern day terms, the horse nomad is a horsepower nomad. They're classic. They're bikers. No borders, no laws, no ethics. Well, maybe the occasional, but basically no ethics. They are a little bit more mobile than the average. Like back in the day, you'll see people getting whacked back in the 30s or whatever, time of Al Capone. They were mobile too back then. They had the big cars and going around, machine gunning each other and stuff like that. Mobility. What's happening? Understand, underlining all of this criticism is what the UN declared maybe within the last couple of years. And when the UN declares something, I listen. But I listen really critically. Okay? So when the WHO says something, they're an arm of the UN, I listen critically. They're full of lies and half-truths and stuff like that. But we might be able to get something out of this. This is what Pauline's been telling you. Listen what we're saying. Check it out. Check it out.